In this video, we are taking a deep dive on the third of Aristotle's ancient pillars of trust and influence, LOGOS. First, we'll define what LOGOS actually is. Then we'll talk about how you can apply the concept of LOGOS to dramatically improve the quality of your communication across any domain. And finally, we'll talk about the dark side of LOGOS. Yes, there is a dark side. In case you're new here, my name is Hayden Richards. I am an emergency physician, and this is Comms Lab. On this channel, I share my journey, and what I've learned as I strive to develop myself into an effective communicator and an emotionally intelligent leader. This video is the final one in my series on Aristotle's 3 appeals of rhetoric. Rhetoric. You pronounce it rhetoric. And how we can use these ideas across all our communication challenges. We've talked about ethos, we've talked about pathos, and now at last we have arrived at LOGOS. LOGOS refers to your ability to put together a logical case for whatever it is that you're proposing. In the context of making a case or an argument, it refers to your capacity to convey sound reasoning, and it can be supported by facts, figures, and examples. So Gatsby, according to the Bureau of Meteorology website right here, there's only a 17% chance of rain in the next hour. But that increases to 73% this afternoon. So, in summary, I think we should go for a walk now. When done well, LOGOS starts at your audience's current understanding and then walks them step by step to a new understanding. I was actually reflecting on this during the week, and it occurred to me that I actually use this step-by-step logic when I have to break bad news, especially really bad news. Gatsby, I went down to the pet store to get you some more food today, and when I arrived, I couldn't find the stuff that you like on the shelf. The store attendant told me they were sold out, and so I asked them, when could they expect to have more back? They said it could be another week. So I tried like another 3 or 4 stores, but they all had the same answer. Gatsby, I'm so sorry. I had no choice. LOGOS is clearly a really useful tool, particularly in this broader context, whenever you have to use it in any kind of difficult communication. But there's also some pretty major pitfalls that come along with it. The first pitfall is that we tend to overuse LOGOS. In fact, whenever we find ourselves in a disagreement, particularly one that is emotionally charged, our first tendency is to argue our case. But isn't it obvious? I mean, I'm clearly right here and you're clearly wrong. And here's why. The problem is, even the most watertight argument will fall on deaf ears if we haven't validated the other person's position first. Critical care Dr. Laura Rock calls this answering feelings with facts. And if our goal is to convince anyone of anything, it just doesn't work. If anything, it can result in the other person feeling invalidated and defensive, and therefore digging in their heels even further. A second pitfall with LOGOS is the danger of false assumptions. The moment we start building an argument for anything, we are building that argument on a foundation of assumptions. And when those assumptions turn out to be inaccurate, you'll inevitably find yourself with an unexpected outcome. Now, when assumptions are unintentionally wrong, we call that a mistake. But when they're willfully wrong, we call it deception. A third pitfall of LOGOS is exactly that. Unfortunately, it can be used to deceive. When logical arguments are informed by bad intentions, people can be convinced to do things that are just against their best interests. Aristotle made it pretty clear that his 3 pillars of rhetoric, ethos, pathos, and LOGOS, are all ethically neutral. In other words, they can be used for good as well as evil. And when you look at the great communicators and orators throughout history, there's enough psychopaths amongst them to be sure that that is true. But does that mean that good intentions alone are enough? Well, there's actually pretty good reason to think that that's a mistake as well. And in this video, I go into the reasons why that is the case. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you there.